What's up guys, thanks for checking out the video. Today we're going to talk about how to actually make money on eBay. I haven't really done a video like this on this channel ever, so this is the first for me for a while at least. So pretty much just going to go over some of the things I do. I've seen a lot of other videos on YouTube about how to make money on eBay, and I honestly disagree with most of what everyone else is doing. I'm sure there's some people who are doing similar operations as I am, but the majority of what I see is not very profitable, very time consuming, and just overall not a good idea. So I'm going to go into what I do and how to actually make money and how to start turning profit a lot quicker than a lot of those operations. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is, are you doing this for passive income? Are you doing it as a part-time job? Or are you doing it as a full-time job? So I'm a college student currently, so I'm doing it as kind of a part-time job, passive income kind of thing. This is my main source of income. I do some other things. I run a clothing brand and whatever else, but anyways, this is where I see most of my actual profit coming from, since a lot of my other business endeavors are currently investments since they're in the early stages. But anyways, the first thing you want to look at is, as I was saying, how much scalability you need to do. Do you want this as just part-time? Do you want this as a full-time? And I would recommend not going straight for full-time, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna lose a lot of money before you make a lot of money, per se. So don't quit your full-time job, because you're not gonna see that money in the first week. So just keep that in mind. So once you have really decided where you want to start, that's when you want to start investing and you need to start sourcing. So let's decide real quickly, what do you want to sell? And this is one of the main things I want to go over, is don't look at those $1 to $2 investments that'll turn into $10, because as tempting as that sounds, as easy as that sounds, it doesn't work that easy. It's not as profitable as you might think. You want to look at doing more expensive stuff, or at least that's what I do. So I wrote up this quick example for you. Most of the other people on YouTube I see are like, oh, you need to buy all these t-shirts from Salvation Army or Google at $2 each, and then you can sell them for $10, and then you'll make money. So let's actually look at the numbers of doing that. Let's say you invest in 100 t-shirts from Salvation Army. That's a $200 investment. So now you're $200 in the hole. I'm going to be gracious and say 20 of those sold in the first week. That's great. You made $200. You didn't actually make 200. You have 200 in your PayPal. Actually, like 185 with fees. So keep that in mind. So now that you have your 185, now you're going to get hit with about $60 in shipping. Now you're at 125. Then there's $20 in eBay fees. You're at 105. You didn't make $5 a shirt. You lost about 95. So keep that in mind. And you have a bunch of t-shirts you have nothing to do with now. So I don't think that's as good of an idea as you might think. And now, yes, eventually you might sell 100 of those, but if you do, it's going to be very slow, and you'd be better off just skipping that endeavor altogether, because it's not worth it, and you could be using that money to do a lot of better things. So I'm going to talk about some better things you can look into. So I focus mainly on two things, and I do almost everything, but the two main big ticket sellers are high-end consumer electronics and video games, and musical instruments. Now, musical instruments require a lot more expertise than games do, since games you can just pull up your Amazon app and you can be like, oh, this is a $20 game, this is a $2 game, and you can see what's worth investing and what's not worth investing. So you have to look at the risk return. As I just said, the risk was pretty small with the clothing, because you're paying about $2 each, but you're also not making a big return on it. So I would not do that. I go for things where I spend 50, 100, even 500, and then I maybe not double that, but I make 60 or 70% more than I bought it for, and that profit is a lot more than 100 t-shirts would be. So the example I actually have right now, which is something I find myself doing about twice a week, which is super cool that it's been that easy to do, is guitars, specifically Fender guitars. Now, I actually don't sell most of my guitars, but this is one I'm about to sell. It's just a regular Mexican-made Fender Stratocaster, and I invested $200 in this, and it just sold for $450. I'm about to ship it out tomorrow. After shipping and fees, I'll be looking at making about $4, so I'll be making $150 to $200 on this. That's more than a regular minimum wage part-time job will make in a week, and I'm gonna do probably 3 of these this week. So, right there, that's a lot better than what you're probably up to right now. So look at doing stuff like that. Another thing is with video games. The best example I can give is I just invested in 6 PS4s and 6 Xbox Ones around Black Friday time, and I already have sold all those. They're long gone. Everything went smoothly, and I was able to net about $50 to $100 off of each of those. I bought them $50 off and buy 2 get 1 free when GameStop had their sale. And so I ended up making, I want to say, around $1,000 on that investment, and that took about a week. So that was a really good turnaround, really good net. You want to be focusing more on doing that. Now, yes, there was a lot bigger risk there. I invested well over $1,000 in that one, and I didn't make my money back the next day. But within a week, I was pretty squared away. I had a couple systems laying around, but I'd already far surpassed what I spent, so it's just profit on top of that. And now it's all gone, so it did really, really well. So, yeah. If you don't want to spend a lot of money initially, I would not recommend doing this because you're really not going to see the money back that you want to see. You might see a few dollars here and there, but you're going to put in a bunch of work, and at the end of the day, maybe profit $30. And you can make that in a few hours at even a minimum wage job. So I don't find that really to be worth my time or your time either. So focus on high-priced items and stop being sentimentally attached to money. Use money to make more money. You have to spend money to make money. If I wasn't spending, $1,000+ a week on sourcing, I wouldn't be bringing in what I bring in. So just get that out of the way now. You're gonna need capital, and you're gonna need to be willing to spend it, and you're gonna need to not pass up on deals. If you're going on a pawn shop run or a thrift store run or whatever, and you're like, oh, I already spent $400 today, like, I don't know if I want to invest in this. Like, if you're gonna get risky about that kind of stuff and not want to invest, this is probably not the best business for you, because this is the point where you need to spend $400, and then when you see another good deal that might even be a $500 investment on top of that, you need to be like super eager to just go for it, because this is all about scalability and doing every single deal you can. Because if you start passing up deals, you're passing up money, you're passing up hours of work, and that's really the end goal at the end of the day, is that you're making your own hours and you're making more than you would make at a regular job. So don't pass up on hours because you're scared to spend money. Find it in yourself to spend that capital, because it really will pay off. So pretty much with that, I just covered how much you want to sell, risk returns, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to touch on sourcing really quick. I actually don't want to go that into it because it's so sacred, and I don't want to tell you all my secrets on where I find everything. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are doing the same operation as me don't want everyone at the exact same place, which would drive the market, which would suck. So learn about sourcing yourself. Look for places around you that sell not just secondhand merchandise, but places that do actual sales. I've sourced from GameStop and Target more than you could believe. Those two huge corporations you can invest quite a bit in and make more than them, which is weird. But as I said before, the buy 2 get 1 free deals, that's a 33% for free. So if you're dealing with high priced items, 33%, maybe when you're selling it yourself, you're only making 20%. But on $1,000, 20% is $200. Keep that in mind. So again, risk return. Big investments, big payoffs. Also bigger risk. You might lose money. And if you're afraid to do this, then it is what it is. Maybe this isn't for you. But I feel like I've said that quite a few times. I don't mean to sound arrogant. Just be willing to make big investments, or it's not a good idea to get into this because it's very time consuming and you won't see much reward from it. And the whole goal is to make as much reward as you can. So the real quick thing I'll say about sourcing is I go to a lot of pawn shops, I go to a little bit of thrift stores, I really skip over flea markets these days, and yard sales I don't really wake up for because I'm up all night listing and stuff and shipping. So I don't do as much yard sales because you can find great stuff, but it's so few and far between that it's just not worth it for me at this point. Maybe in the future I'll start getting into that, but getting up at 7 o'clock and probably not finding much of anything is not my forte. I'm more into getting up around 2 o'clock and then hitting 100 pawn shops and just doing that because I'm more likely to find stuff. So yeah, check your local resale stores, check local sales at even corporate stores, And you know, just look at the price difference between what it's selling for on eBay, what it's selling for on Amazon, and what it's selling for in the store, because the margins are bigger than you might think sometimes. You really have to look for them though. So with that being said, now just to recap real quick, we know how much scalability we want to do, and we know what kind of products we're going to look for, and we kind of know where we're going to look for them. So now we've only talked about spending money up to this point. We haven't talked about actually making money. So now I've invested in a lot of product. What are we going to do with that product? We're going to sell it, obviously. So we're going to go on eBay, and one thing I recommend is if you're going to be doing this for anything more than just passive income, if you either want to do this part-time or full-time, invest in an eBay store. It's about $20 a month for the basic store, which is what I do, and it allows you to do up to 250 buy it nows listed for free, and you pay less final value fees, which final value fees are going to kill you because they're anywhere up to 10%, and on a a $400 sale, that's 40 bucks. That's a good amount of margin. That's a couple hours of work, so you don't want to give those up. So getting those discounted final value fees is a really big help, and it's the $20 like pays for itself within the first few days. So it's definitely worthwhile to have it. So I was going to talk about real quickly how I sell and what I do. I start everything buy it now, and I always do best offer, and I list it for more than it's worth. You'll be surprised when there's a new listing. A lot of people will jump on stuff for more than it's worth, and that's super cool because that's more money in your pocket. And that's quick sale, quick net. Keep doing stuff like that. Now, a lot of the stuff, if you're listing it for more than it's worth, isn't going to sell initially, and that is what it is. So best offer. People are probably going to lowball you. Never decline. Always counter, because you'd be surprised when you counter. A lot of times, let's say you have an item for $100. Someone might offer you $20. If you counter back with 95 and they come at you with 80 and you only invested 40, that's not too bad. That's not to say you should initially just cut 20% of your price, but you'll start getting real offers pretty quickly, even on a lot of lowballers. So definitely counter everything. Declining is just saying no to a customer, and you never want to do that. You want to have as many customers as possible because that's as many sales as possible. So take 2 seconds to counter. I leave my buy it nows up for about 2 weeks, which is way less than most people, but again, I like actually making money and not storing inventory. So after 2 weeks, I usually do a Thursday to Sunday 10-day listing. Ending your listings on Sunday is a really good idea. Also, you want the listing to be as long as possible. I start my listings at 1 cent with free shipping. Yes, I know that means I can lose money, but I have done it enough times to where the little bit I've lost money it's so irrelevant compared to the rest of the sales I've made. So doing those 1 cent listings guarantees you that after 10 days the item's gone, you don't have inventory sitting. This pretty much means that inventory is with me for at most 24 days. So I like that, which means in a month I'm never going to see what I bought a month ago. Keep doing that, because that's when you're going to make money. You're not going to make money by having $10,000 of inventory that's been there for 6 months. You don't have $10,000 of inventory, you have a bunch of crap that's not selling, so don't do that. Another selling tactic, I put free shipping on almost everything, because you'd be surprised about like the amount of people that only look at free shipping listings, and it looks way cleaner. Like, you can sell a game for $15 with $2.83 shipping. It just looks like a blatant eBay listing. It's 17 whatever, and a lot of times you could just list it for $19.95 with free shipping, and it looks so much more appealing that people are going to be more likely to bounce on it. So do that. As far as selling tactics, there's not much to it. That's about all I can really go over. Just don't let it sit at buy it now for long. Run promos, accept best offers, and it's not selling, auction off at 1 cent. Get rid of it. It's not worth your time or your space, because warehousing isn't free. And if you think it is, then just wait till you have a real store going on and you have a bunch of stuff that you don't have room for. Keep making room. The more room you have, the more stuff you can source in, and the more stuff you can be selling, because having 1,000 listings live means you're selling quite a few a day, which is awesome. That's really what you want, because if your average is like me, where my average is 50 bucks, I ship out about 100 items a week, which is way less than most people, but my average is $50, not $5, so that's why that's great. So yeah. Make sure you have as much listed at a time as you can, and make sure it's moving. So the last few things are just your shipping, and then lastly your payout. So shipping is very self-explanatory. A lot of people are really afraid of this for whatever reason. They're like, I don't want to go through the hassle of shipping. Well, it's actually not that hard. Just use eBay's built-in shipping program, because they usually will give you about a 20% discount, which is awesome. I always ship via USPS. Anytime it's less than £1, use first-class shipping, because that makes it less than $3.50 to ship. It's usually about $2.60 to ship a game, which is great. So use that. And the other really, really big thing is buy your envelopes in bulk. You can buy about I buy them in 1,000, but let's say you buy 100 DVD mailers, which you can fit almost anything in. 100 costs $17, breaks down to 17 cents an envelope. If you buy them at Target or Walmart, they're about $1 to $2 an envelope. Huge difference. Buy the 100, buy the 1,000, whatever it is, buy a lot of them. You will use them, and it's well worth the initial investment of like $20 to $100, whatever it is. It will be very irrelevant once you start selling hundreds of listings. So anything more than £1, I generally do priority mail, and always ship in the thinnest boxes you possibly can, like not material-wise, but width-wise, because I can ship a guitar for $20, which most people spend $60, because I use a box that's that thick. It helps. I think it's 4 or 5 inches or less, and you're going to be looking at 20 rather than 60. So keep that in mind. It's a minor detail, but will save you a lot of money in the long run. Other than that, shipping, I think most of you guys will figure out on your own, especially if you're able to figure out sourcing and you know how much capital you want to invest and how to invest that capital. Shipping is the least of your concerns. The last thing, I just wanted to mention a couple other things I see people talking about that I highly recommend against. One of them is hiring someone. Unless you're working 20 hours a day and you're barely sleeping, you don't need to hire someone, because you're going to be you need to do so much volume to even think about hiring someone that if you're doing that much volume where you really do need someone, then I'm probably not going to help you that much, because hopefully you're making more than me. If you're not, then you should really try to scale up your efficiency, because I don't have anyone work for me and I'm doing just fine. So yeah, don't pay your friend $10 an hour to help ship stuff unless you're out of town. Like, I'm going on tour next week, so I am paying someone to help me, but that's because I'm out of town. If you are in town, it's never worth hiring someone to do something you could just do yourself. Unless you have something that's worth more than that, just do it yourself, do it the right way, do it fast, do it efficiently. It's going to cut into your margins. So, there's that. I think that's about it. So, as far as other recommendations of things not to do, don't do low dollar items, don't hire someone, and just risk return. Remember risk return, that's the biggest thing. The last thing I'm going to talk about is what you've been wanting to hear about the whole time, and that's how to actually cash out. I would recommend, if you want to start this business, invest $1,000. Put $1,000 in your checking account and be prepared to spend it. Spend it on sourcing, spend it on whatever, and once you get money in your PayPal, slowly start transferring it back to your checking. Let your checking get back to $1,000, and every time it hits $1,000, transfer everything over that in your savings. That's what you're profiting, because you always want to have that $1,000 buffer so you have money to invest. Like if you see it, you know, PS4 for $150 when you know you can sell for $250. You know, be ready to buy that. Always have that $1,000 there. There's not that many things that $1,000 won't cover that are really profitable and worth your time and money, so keep that in mind. Yes, you can do $10,000 investments in cars, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about consumer electronics and things you can actually sell very fast and make quick profit. So every time you hit over 1,000, cash it in. I would recommend doing this at the end of the week. Well, the end of the selling week, which is Monday for me, because you know auctions end on Sundays. So usually you'll have your money in, you have everything shipped up by Monday. So on Monday, cash out everything that's on 1,000. You're good to go. Then you're gonna really see what you're making, and you'll be surprised if you're doing a lot of volume and you are spending $1,000 a week plus on sourcing. Then you're probably making good money, because stuff sells on eBay and it sells fast. So Never stop, never slow down, even if you just made a bunch of money or you didn't make a bunch of money. Keep sourcing, never stop sourcing, or you will have dead weeks. And you don't want dead weeks because that's like getting no hours at work, and at the end of the day, this is your job. So get as many hours as you can, source as much as you can. That's pretty much all I have to go over. I'm going to drop my email in the description, so if you have any particular questions or if you want to get deeper into sourcing or anything I didn't delve into very much, then email me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as soon as I can get to it. But that's about it. I hope this helps people, and I hope that this helped you weave your way through a lot of the BS that a lot of the people are kind of recommending you do, because it's not worth wasting your time when you could be doing something else worth more. So just keep in mind everything I said in this video. Let me know how your businesses are going and anything I can do to help you guys, because choosing your own hours is awesome, and I hope everyone else, at some point does get to do that, because it's helpful and lets you live a very flexible lifestyle, which is super cool. So that's about all I have. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this is helpful. Hope you guys make a lot of money. And just thanks for watching. Have a good one. See ya.